Whether you like history or not, at some point you've probably heard of the Roman Empire and its centuries-long reign. But how did Rome, a relatively small city, manage to rise to power and become one of the most powerful empires of its time? Let's find out. The roots of the Roman Empire are in the modest beginnings of Rome itself. The city was supposedly built in 753 BC on the banks of the Tiber River. However, with smart diplomacy, impressive military power, and insightful political judgment of its leaders, Rome was able to grow from a small city-state to a legendary superpower. Around 509 BC, the early Roman Republic was founded. It served as a test for democracy and civic morality. Res publica, or public affairs, originated here. It resulted in a government structure that emphasized a careful distribution of authority among the Senate, the courts, and the public. But Rome's territorial aspirations grew over the ages, extending its power throughout the Italian peninsula and the greater Mediterranean region. The history of the Roman Empire would be incomplete without mentioning Gaius Julius Caesar, a man whose life and influence continue to fascinate historians and enthusiasts alike. Caesar, who was born in 100 BC into a noble Roman family, became one of the most important figures in Roman history. Although he didn't create the Roman Empire, his reign left a significant mark in history, as he laid the foundations for the rise of Rome's power. Throughout his early years, Caesar was driven by ambition and a desire for fame. In addition to increasing Rome's range of influence, his military conquests in Gaul, where he ruled as governor from 58 to 50 BC, confirmed his status as a skilled tactician and charismatic leader. During his life, Caesar acquired a vast amount of territory, using a combination of military brilliance, political intrigue, and diplomatic sophistication, bringing most of modern-day France, Belgium, and Switzerland under his rule. His remarkable ascent to fame, however, would not go unopposed. His political rivals, primarily the conservative senatorial class, were suspicious of him. They saw him as a challenger to the status quo, given his increasing popularity and influence among the people of Rome. So, when Caesar ignored the Senate's commands and led his troops across the Rubicon River in 49 BC, starting a civil war that would rock Rome, the Senate's concerns reached a breaking point. The resulting battle, which came to be known as the Roman Civil War, put Caesar up against Pompey the Great, his once ally turned adversary, and his senatorial followers. But even in the face of numerically superior opponents, Caesar would not give up. He won decisively at the Battle of Pharsalus in 48 BC, thanks to his exceptional military skills. After losing and retreating to Egypt, Pompey met an early and tragic end at the hands of assassins, leaving Caesar as Rome's unopposed leader. With his opponents defeated and the Senate under control, Caesar set out to impose a number of extensive changes that would strengthen his position of authority. Those reforms also attempted to make Rome a society with greater equity and justice. His efforts to modernize governance and consolidate authority provided some stability to a city that had been damaged by decades of political infighting, while his agricultural reforms minimized the hardship of the rural poor. However, there was no limit to Caesar's ambitions. After he declared himself Dictator Perpetuo, or Dictator for Life, in 44 BC, many senators were outraged. They considered this declaration to be a clear attempt to claim total authority. As they feared his rising tyranny, a group of Roman senators and politicians conspired to assassinate Caesar that same year. Rome was thrown into chaos once more on the Ides of March, when Caesar was stabbed to death in the Senate chamber. After his death, the public was enraged, leading to a number of civil wars. This ended with the ascent of Caesar's adopted son, Gaius Octavius Thurinus. With the beginning of his rule, the Roman society witnessed the end of an era and the start of a new one. Octavian, who was also known as Augustus, was a brilliant tactician and forward-thinking leader. A new chapter in Roman history, one defined by stability, wealth, and imperial power, began with his reign. Augustus established a foundation for centuries of imperial authority by transforming Rome from a republic to an empire. Using a combination of military expertise, political knowledge, and strategic alliances, Augustus established himself as one of Rome's most successful rulers. However, Augustus faced some obstacles on his way to become emperor. A crucial moment in Roman history was the Battle of Actium, which took place in 31 BC. This battle pitted Augustus against Mark Antony and Cleopatra, the Egyptian queen. During a critical naval battle off the coast of Greece, Octavian's forces prevailed, securing his authority over the Roman population. Following Augustus, the Roman Empire grew and prospered for several decades. The empire reached its peak in the 1st and 2nd centuries AD during the rule of the five good emperors: Nerva, Trajan, Hadrian, Antoninus Pius, and Marcus Aurelius. Known as the Pax Romana, or Roman peace, this era was marked by a general sense of stability, economic prosperity, and growing inventiveness across the empire. This period began after the assassination of the tyrannical Roman Emperor Domitian, with the rise of Nerva as ruler in 96 AD. Even though his reign only lasted a couple of years, Nerva focused on restoring stability and order. He also adopted his successor, Trajan, to ensure a more stable transition of power. This key practice of emperors adopting their successor would continue for years to come. In 98 AD, Trajan became the new Roman emperor, leading the empire to growth and expansion. His adopted heir, Hadrian, rose to power in 117 AD. He's known for consolidating the empire's borders and focusing on internal stability. As a great supporter of the arts and architecture, Hadrian contributed to notable projects like the Pantheon in Rome. His successor, Antoninus Pius, became an emperor in 138 AD. Mainly known for his peaceful reign, he avoided military conflicts and focused on promoting justice and morality. The last of the five good emperors, Marcus Aurelius, rose to power in 161 AD after the death of Antoninus Pius. As an emperor, he faced significant military challenges, such as the Parthian War and the Marcomannic Wars. However, Marcus Aurelius is mostly remembered for his Stoic beliefs, his dedication to justice, his wisdom, and sense of duty that guided his governance. But the stability of the empire started to quickly deteriorate in 180 AD, following the death of Marcus Aurelius. After his death, his son Commodus became emperor, although he was an incapable and violent leader. With Commodus's reign came the Year of the Five Emperors, a period of political unrest in which power changed hands constantly within a single year. The empire grew weaker due to numerous civil conflicts and financial problems that continued into the 3rd century AD. The Roman state suffered many difficulties in the 3rd century, including invasions by barbarian tribes, economic collapse, and internal divisions. For these reasons, the period is often referred to as the crisis of the 3rd century. The Roman Empire kept crumbling, even after emperors like Diocletian and Constantine tried to bring stability back. The Western Roman Empire was officially destroyed in 476 AD with the fall of Romulus Augustulus, the last Roman emperor in the West, by the Germanic leader Odoacer. Up to Constantinople's collapse in 1453 AD, the Eastern Roman Empire, which would later be known as the Byzantine Empire, persisted. The Roman Empire left behind a long-lasting legacy that influenced Western civilization for millennia. Rome's imperial history, from the laws and languages that shaped modern civilization to the artistic, architectural, and cultural accomplishments, still provokes wonder and admiration to this day.